lighting is just lovely, but I just can't figure it out. Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. It has been a very long while since I have sat in front of the camera, and mainly because I'm in a different location. I'm still figuring things out, but I'm loving every minute of being in our own space. I still need to figure out, obviously it's quite echoey in here, but I wanted to start off in here first. But I will obviously figure things out like sound at some point, but at the moment I just wanted to create. It's been a lovely start to March. It has felt like spring is breaking through the horrible rain we've had for the last month. People are calling this a fall spring, I believe it's called, because we shouldn't be getting this beautiful weather at this time, but today is lovely and sunny. I have got a little clip to show you, which is a clip that I filmed back in January, as I wanted to start to get back into creating and filming things, which is a little book haul that I did. So what I thought I'd do is I'll pop that in here and you can enjoy it, because there's some lovely titles that I'm very excited to get to. Some that I was sent by the publishers and some that I bought myself. But I really wanted to share them. So I'll put this clip in here and I will send you back to past Georgie. Who knew that you could find a softbox YouTube video to try and recreate a softbox light? I didn't know that until today, because all of my lighting is in storage somewhere. Anywho, I have got order one, and I also have some books that I was sent in PR. So let's start with the PR ones, because very excited for these. So these are from Cannon Gates. One of them I saw kind of everyone kind of reading last year, and then one of them is a new book for this year, which is very exciting. This is what it was. It was shortlisted for the Women's Prize this year. All Fours by Miranda July. Very excited about this. I kind of saw the cover first of all and I was like, that's a beautiful cover. And then I read the premise and it sounded really cool. A semi-famous artist turns 45 and gives herself a gift. A cross-country road trip from LA to New York without her husband and child. But 30 minutes after setting off, she spontaneously exits the freeway, beds down in a nondescript motel, and embarks on the journey of a lifetime. It just sounds really mysterious and really fun at the same time. So yes, very, very happy to receive that. Thank you, Cannon Gate. And then the second book from them is Heart the Lover by Lily King. I feel like so many people have been putting this on their want to read list. Very, very excited for this. Again, beautiful cover, absolutely love it. Our narrator understands good love stories, their secrets, their highs and free falls. But her greatest love story, the one she lived, never followed the rules. She was in her senior year of college when star students Sam and Yash swept her into an intoxicating world of academic fervor, I think, rapid fire banter and raucous card games. Their lives became quickly intertwined with friendship, but also with unpredictable passions and the imitations of first love. Decades later, she is a successful writer, living a comfortable life with her husband and children, when a surprise visit brings the past crashing into the present, forcing her to confront the decisions and deceptions of her youth. Let's get into this package, shall we? So this is from the HarperCollins sale. They had 50% off all their books, and I was like, absolutely. The main reason why I did this order is, oh my gosh, because in their sales, you get 50% off pre-orders. So I've been really good in terms of like what books I want to buy this year in terms of new releases. And there was one book that I was really, really excited to get at some point, and obviously they had it. Now I don't believe it's in this one because I don't think it's published yet. I think it's April, it's coming out. But I obviously was like, well, let's see what else they've got. So I have 3 books here to show you. The first one is The Briar Club by Kate Quinn. Now this is an author who's really, really intrigued me. What is that? Is that paint? Look at that. Well, that's sadly disappointing. Look, they got some weird stuff on it. She kind of writes kind of historical fiction centered around women, but specifically, I believe it's called The Rose Code, which is set, one of them is set in Bletchley Park, which I have a family connection with. So I've been wanting to read some of her books for ages, but I believe someone I follow on Goodreads read this fairly recently, and it had been on my list for a while. So I was very excited, but this is kind of like a thriller murder mystery-esque, which sounds really fun. So this is set in Washington in 1954. A body lies on the floor of the attic room of Briarwood House, an all-female boarding house in the heart of the city. Every woman under its roof has secrets to hide, especially Grace March, the lovely, mysterious newcomer whose weekly dinner parties have made unlikely friends of her fellow lodgers. But when violence comes knocking, the women of Briarwood House must decide once and for all. So it sounds really, really cool. The next one is the reappearance of Rachel Price. I never read this when this came out because I only read A Good Girl's Guide to Murder last year or the year before, I think. And really, really loved Holly Jackson's writing style. And everyone had been saying that, I think some people said that kind of the other books in the series of the Good Girls Guide to Murder series weren't great, but then this one was really, really good. And I think some people who weren't fans of the Good Girls Guide to Murder loved this. 18-year-old Belle has lived her whole life in the shadow of her mum's mysterious disappearance. 16 years ago, Rachel Price vanished and young Belle was the only witness. Rachel is gone, presumed dead. The case is dragged up from the past when the Price family agrees to a true crime documentary. I love true crime documentaries. Belle can't wait for filming to end, for life to go back to normal. But then Rachel Price reappears and life will never be normal again. Oh my gosh, just sounds so much fun. So I feel like that's gonna be a very bingeable book. It's very floppy as well. I love a floppy book. And then the last one is more of a collector's purchase. As you may or may not know, there is a dramatized version of The Seven Dials mystery, mystery, I was right, by Agatha Christie on Netflix. And so I've been slowly collecting the HarperCollins special editions of Agatha Christie books because I grew up watching Agatha Christie adaptations, especially Poirot. David Suchet is forever my favourite Poirot. And I just also loved the books as I started to read them growing up. Obviously there's many books which I'm trying to get through, but I have been collecting the special editions ever since I got sent the Christmas, Hercule Poirot's Christmas special edition book, which they did. So I've been collecting them ever since, and this one is just Art Deco perfection. I mean, look at that, that's just stunning. So let's find where the synopsis is, because normally it's okay. So this is with Agatha Christie's character Superintendent Battle, and I've never read any of this Superintendent Battle books before, and I don't believe I've watched any of the adaptations, so exciting. A practical joke goes chillingly murderously wrong in this book. Jerry Wade had proved himself to be a champion sleeper, so the other house guests decided to play a practical joke on him. 8 alarm clocks are set to go off, one after the other, starting at 6:30 a.m. But when morning arrived, one clock was missing, and the prank then backfired with tragic consequences. So yeah, sounds really, really cool. And the adaptation on Netflix looks amazing, brilliant cast as well. The book that I did pre-order is The Ending Writes Itself by Evelyn Clark, which is a mashup between V.E. Schwab and I believe Cassandra Clark. Let's see, Kat Clark, got it wrong, which sounds really, really cool. And I just love the fact that they've decided to team up. So 6 authors, 1 private island, 72 hours to write the ending that will change their lives. When the 6 authors are invited to spend the weekend on a private Scottish island, they arrive to discover a massive shock. The owner of the island, or best-selling novelist, is dead, and his last book is unfinished. Kind of reminds me of the Magpie Murders, in like a similar-ish vein, but it sounded really, really cool, and it was a really cool mashup. And I love V.E. Schwab, so I was very excited to pre-order that. So there we go, that's my little book haul. I love the fact that we've nearly got to the end of January and I have acquired, I'm not counting these came at the end of last year, so we're not counting those, but going in with 3 books, and I have only read finished one physical book. It's okay, it's fine. It's okay. Welcome back from the past. I hope your trip was safe and not too treacherous. So back in present day, and I have been really enjoying getting into the seasonal spirit of spring. Yesterday I went and bought some bits to make the house feel more homely, but also to make it feel more spring. Some of which you will spot in this video and the clips that will be upcoming. But one of the things that I like to do at the start of every season is to do a seasonal journal spread. So I will show you my journal. I'm currently using, what is the name of this? This is from a brand called String and Space. And I actually found them on Amazon, but I believe they do also sell on their own website, but they sell on Amazon. But how beautiful are these? Let's see if it will focus on these. Look at these beautiful edges. The pages are lovely and thick, which is my problem with my previous one. But I've just been really enjoying just making, being a bit more experimental with my spreads, you know, having a bit more fun. I have shared my yearly spread on my TikTok, so if you'd like to see that, you can go on there. I do need to put some more stickers in the spreads that I have done, but I really wanted to make some of my spring spreads today. I definitely won't get through one, I might just get through one, but I specifically wanted to focus on my title page, but also my spring bucket list, which is something that I really enjoy making every season, things that I would love to try and get done over the next 3 months. And it just helps romanticize the season and also just brings little pieces of joy into your day. And it doesn't have to be expensive things, it doesn't have to be big things. It can be, you know, as small as getting outside in the fresh air, go for a walk. It can be picking some flowers and pressing them into a book, which is what I plan to do in this. So what I will do is I will make some spreads with you now, and then I thought I would share with you my spring bucket list, because I'm very excited to tick some of these things off this season. Okay, so as you can already see, I've already made a little start. I'm going to, I should do that actually now. I'm going to grab my little brown paper sheets, because I'm going to stick this on here and I'm going to write on my list onto the brown piece of paper here. But I really want to try and get this done today. I've got some washi tape yesterday from the range, which is perfect. They've got exactly the colours that I was looking at using, all these like pastels. And yeah, just kind of get a little bit creative with it. It's going to be mainly a sticker one. Last time I did more of a DIY type of like sticking bits on, but I want to have a go at doing some more stuff with stickers and washi tape. So that's the plan for this one here. But I'm going to go and grab my brown paper and my roller tape so I can stick that on. Okay, so I have made my spring bucket list, which I'm very, very excited to share. There's some really lovely things on here that I can't wait to do. One of them, well, actually I have two I have ticked off, one that I have almost ticked off. The first thing was to buy myself a seasonal spring mug. This one is from Waitrose / John Lewis, and was a complete and utter accident when I walked in and saw they had spring stuff and saw this, and I thought, that is coming home with me. It's a perfect size. It's a very big mug, which I prefer for my hot beverages. Okay, so this is going to be a really big mix of things like creative things as well as physical activities that I will go out and do, with a couple of things where I probably would spend some money on, but I keep myself a small fun fund, as I call it. And these are basically things that is a little pot of money that I use for these types of things, because I feel like sometimes we can be so focused on saving or putting aside money for necessary things that sometimes we can forget that it's also really important to be able to have some money that you can use for the fun things. Now obviously this is not the same for everybody. This is obviously a very privileged position to be in, but I just put a small amount away. It's almost like, imagine when you were younger and you had your pocket money and you would put your pocket money in a piggy bank and then you would use it on, you know, whatever you wanted. That's basically my fun fund. One thing that I would love to do, and it's not something I've done for a very long while, is to buy a magazine because I want to buy it, and to buy a spring edition of a magazine. I'm going to need to do a little bit of research into this, but I do believe that there are some really lovely independent magazines out there that would be really cool to have a little look at. Normally at the moment, if I get a magazine, it's more to do with my work, or it might be like a free one you pick up in the supermarket. It's not necessarily one that you're actively going out and buying. Again, I used to take so much joy in going into the aisle in the supermarket or a newsagent and looking at all of the magazines, or actually going in to buy a copy of my favourite magazine, and it used to be my treat to myself. You know, those £3-4 or whatever was my little treat to myself, and I wouldn't necessarily buy it every month. Sometimes I would, but I miss doing that, so that's something I would love to try and do. I would also love to try and press some flowers. I mentioned this earlier. I have very much felt like since we have moved, I have become more in touch with nature, and I think that's because of the surroundings of where we live, but also actually having a garden, having your own little space where you're growing your own flowers. But I would love to go and forage some flowers and press them into my journal, because obviously the stickers are lovely, but how lovely would it be to actually have some pressed flowers in here as well. I would love to go on a picnic. Very cliche, I know, but I thoroughly enjoy a picnic, and the last picnic I went on was last summer with some friends, and it was just the best time. But I would love to do it more locally. We've got some beautiful green spaces around us, and I would love to do it maybe even on my own, you know, trying to be a bit more brave and doing things on my own. I would also love to paint outside. Now this is something that may depend on when I actually get some gardener furniture to rest on, but I actually have some steps, and you know, actually on a lovely sunny day like today, if I wasn't working later on, I would be out there. I would be planting some more seeds and making a good little stab at clearing some stuff out there, but alas not, I have to work later. I really got into painting last year, especially on different things. I painted on fabric and also on ceramics, and I would love to continue that, but on natural paper. So I want to try and experiment with my painting a bit more. I also have a jigsaw which I got for Christmas, and I'm desperate to do, and I've not done yet, and that is I think it's called The World of Taylor Swift, or it's basically, I'll put a picture on the screen here, and I was gonna do it through the winter, but I didn't end up doing it, which I feel like jigsaw season is winter. I just didn't get to do it, so I'm hoping that this spring on some of the cooler days or rainy days that we will have, I can make a little start on that as well. I would love to go on a local hike. Now, in our local magazine, they actually publish local hikes and trails that you can do, and I've actually pulled out one which starts from where we live, so I would love to try and get that done this spring as well. I have got a few crafts in mind. In particular, I actually have bought myself an egg painting set, not actual eggs, but little wooden eggs. I saw this on YouTube a couple of years ago and I just bookmarked it and had it in the back of my mind, and this season I was like, I would really like to try and do that. And then just luckily yesterday when I went into the range, they had an egg painting kit, so I bought myself one of those. I also want to be going back to some of the things that I had started, like my crocheting, my embroidery, but also scrapbooking. I had been making a travel scrapbook and I have not finished it. And it has nearly been, oh god, this is scary, it's been 9 years since I went backpacking and I have not finished scrapbooking that trip, and I have had several other trips since then. But you know what, it's all part of the fun. So I would love to try and make a dent in that. Now this one is probably one that's going to be more of a bravery thing. At the beginning of the year, one of my goals was to be more brave, and this was through small things and big things. No skydiving or anything crazy like that. I wanted to push myself more, and in some of like the really silly things that I was probably shying away from. Now, as I am a teacher who teaches after school and also teaches adults, I don't really have many evenings to myself apart from things, school holidays, but I never really have a chance to do a class for myself, and I've missed that since I was about 18. No, I have done classes since then, but I actually want to try something different. I want to try a new skill or a new sport. So I will be starting to have a look to see what I can find locally. It's also just a great way to meet local friends. Even though I'm not far from where I was living previously, sometimes just having local friends in your local area makes such a big difference. And I would love to kind of be part of the community a bit more and to find similar people in my area. So that might be a good way to do that. Now, some places that I would like to try and visit, I would love to go and visit a flower field or a local garden. Now, I do believe, I don't know if they still have it, but I think this is more the summer. We have a sunflower field, which I'm pretty sure is just down the road. I don't know if they still have it open to people, because I remember going there when I was in my early 20s, but I would love to maybe see if there's a local garden, if not elsewhere. There's some beautiful places around here, so I'm sure there would be something like that. I'd also like to try out the farmers market that's local to me as well, because normally they're on a Saturday and I work Saturdays, so it would be amazing to get to that during the Easter holidays. And I'd also love to go to a pottery painting place. There is one, again, fairly local to me, which I've been meaning to go to. I used to go there quite a lot, but I would love to go there again and do it as an adult. And again, after getting a little bit more brave with painting. This is one I don't know how much I will be able to do, but I would love to attempt. I would love to make a birdhouse. So I believe when I was on holiday, when I was like 10 or 11, we did that. I'm sure it was a birdhouse and not a bat house. Yes, yeah, it was a birdhouse. And it was great fun. But I would love to do one to actually make to put in the garden. I actually saw one the other day, yesterday actually, and it was like a little cabin. And I thought that's such a clever idea. So I would love to try and get more DIY with bigger projects like that. Buying myself flowers, that's an obvious one, but I do not do it enough for myself. I've also got some beautiful vases, which have been very kindly given to us as housewarming gifts. and I would love to actually use them. Another thing I would love to try and do is to actually book a holiday. We've been wanting to go on a holiday which is completely our planning and our doing for such a long while, and I would love to try and get that booked this spring so that we can enjoy it and go on it later on in the year. Last few things, a bike ride. I don't actually own a bike, so this might be slightly tricky, but I might have to see if I can borrow a bike. At some point I would love to have my own bike, but I would definitely not use it enough, so I feel like borrowing a bike would be better. And the last thing on my list is to plant seeds, which, as I said, I have already ticked off, which is great. I have planted radishes, coriander, Welsh onions and lettuce so far, and I'm hoping that they're gonna take, and I've got lots of other seeds which I'm very excited to start to plant as well. So that was my spring bucket list. I'm very excited to continue ticking some of these off. One of them which I didn't put on there was to actually start to decorate for spring, which I have already done. I've also added a couple of new bits, as I said. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please do let me know, and let me know if you're doing anything exciting this spring or anything planned. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!